Hello dear students, today we will speak about the teaching approach, method and techniques. Approaches. They deal with general philosophies of teaching. Methods. They deal with more practical nuts and bolts. Strategies. They deal with specific actions. Approach. Communicative language teaching or CLT. So the communicative approach, also called communicative language teaching or functional approach, was a British version of the movement in the early 1960s in reaction to the structuralism and behaviorism embedded in the audio linguistics. So Longman Dictionary of Language Teaching and Applied Linguistics defines a communicative approach or communicative language teaching as an approach to foreign or second language teaching, which emphasizes that the goal of language learning is communicative competence. Communicative language teaching or CLT. CLT or CA is a set of principles about teaching, including recommendations about method and syllabus, where the focus is on meaningful communication, not structure, use not usage. Its primary goal is for learners to develop communicative competence, or simply put, communicative ability. Method. For example, audiolingual method. The audiolingual method is a methodology used in teaching foreign languages. It is based on behaviorist theory, which professes that humans can be trained through a system of reinforcement. It's similar to another earlier method called the direct method, based on the premise that students can be taught a language directly, without using their native language to explain new words, grammar, and the target language. Strategy. Discussion. Discussion lets class members work actively with ideas and the concepts being perceived, and discussion sessions can be extremely effective in changing behavior or attitudes. Consequently, teachers use them frequently in instructional situations. Approach. Competency-based language teaching. It's a functional approach to education that emphasizes life skills and evaluates mastery of those skills according to actual learner performance. It was defined by the U.S. Office of Education as a performance-based process, leading to demonstrated mastery of basic and life skills necessary for the individual to function proficiently in society. Method. For example, situational language teaching relies on the structural view of language. The method aims to ensure practical command of the four basic skills of a language through structure, accuracy in both pronunciation and grammar, ability to respond quickly and accurately in speech situations, and an automatic control of basic structures and sentence patterns. Strategy. For example, simulations are instructional scenarios where the learner is placed in a world defined by the teacher. They represent the reality within which students interact. The teacher controls the parameters of this world and uses it to achieve the desired instructional results. Students experience the reality of the scenario and gather meaning from it. Approach, this time content-based instruction, refers to an approach to second language acquisition that emphasizes the importance of content in contrast to other approaches or methods which are centered around the language itself. Content-based instruction is centered on the subject matter. Nevertheless, the approach aims to develop the student's language and academic skills. And method here, direct method, is sought to immerse the learner in the same way as when a first language is learned. All teaching is done in target language, grammar is taught inductively, there is a focus on speaking and listening, and only useful everyday language is taught. And strategy, here it is debates. Debating is a structured way of exploring the range of views on an issue. It consists of a structured contest of argumentation in which two opposing individuals or teams defend and attack a given proposition. Okay, the next approach is cooperative or collaborative learning. It's an approach to organizing classroom activities into academic and social learning experiences. It differs from group work and it has been described as structuring positive interdependence, an instructional method in which students work together in small heterogeneous groups to complete a problem, project, or other instructional goal, while teachers act as guides or facilitators. This method works to reinforce the student's own learning as well as the learning of his or her fellow group members. And its method is total physical response. Originally developed by James Asher, an American professor of psychology in the 1960s. Total physical response, IDS TPR, is based on theory that the memory is enhanced through association with physical movement. It's also closely associated with theories of mother tongue language acquisition in very young children, where they respond physically to parental commands such as pick it up and put it down. And strategy for it is jigsaw method. It's a cooperative learning technique in which students work in small groups. Jigsaw can be used in a variety of ways for a variety of goals, but it's primarily used for the acquisition and presentation of new material, review, or informal debate. In this method, each group member is assigned to become an expert on some aspect of a unit of study. And the next approach is dogm. Dogm is a communicative approach to language teaching that was initiated by Scott Sonbury in his article, A Dogm for EFL. Dogm advocates a kind of teaching that doesn't rely on published textbooks, but relies on conversational communication that occurs in the classroom between teachers and students. And method is Silent Way. It is a language teaching method created by Caleb Catigno that makes extensive use of silence as a teaching technique. The method emphasizes the autonomy of the learner. The teacher's role is to monitor the students' efforts, and the students are encouraged to have an active role in learning the language. Pronunciation is seen as fundamental. Beginning students start their study with pronunciation and much time is spent practicing it each lesson. Strategy is questioning. The art of asking questions is at the heart of effective communication and information exchange, which underpins good teaching. If you use questioning well, you can improve the student learning experience in a whole range of teaching settings. And the next approach is lexical approach. It is a method of teaching foreign languages described by Lewis in the 1990s. The basic concept on which this approach rests is the idea that an important part of learning a language consists of being able to understand and produce lexical phrases as chunks. Students are taught to be able to perceive patterns of language, as well as have meaningful set uses of words at their disposal when they are taught in this way. And method is Suggestopia. It is a teaching method which is based on a modern understanding of how the human brain works and how we learn most effectively. It was developed by the Bulgarian doctor and psychotherapist Georgi Lozanov. The term Suggestopia, derived from suggestion and pedagogy, is often used loosely to refer to similar accelerated learning approaches. And its strategy is verbing. It's a method of visually representing relationship among ideas, concepts, or events. During this procedure, ideas and information are explored and organized. The resulting verb or pattern of relationship is determined by the participants' knowledge and previous experiences and by the purpose of verbing. That was some information about today's lesson, today's theme. It was approaches, methods, and techniques. Thank you for your attention.